Hello everyone, welcome back to the South Bay Syndicate. Today's video is brought to you in partnership with our friends at Lost Planet. Lost Planet is a gaming store in Torrance, California, where we play Star Wars on Thursday nights. They're great supporters of the South Bay Syndicate and just an overall great place to play games, board games, card games, tabletop games, really anything you want. Mike and his team are there, very friendly, very helpful, really fun atmosphere. You can see here we got some Star Wars in the pictures. We got a lot of other games going on. On the right hand of our screen, you can see just some of the channels in their Discord. We'll put the link in the description. They cover everything you could imagine, and you can go in there, you chat with people. They're passionate, they're fun, excited to interact. Just an amazing place. And as a great supporter of the South Bay Syndicate, they are working with us to do a giveaway for our subscribers. So stay tuned for that announcement, but we are working towards a big giveaway once we hit 500 subscribers, boxes, sleeves, all different kinds of things related to Star Wars. So thank you to Lost Planet. Very excited to partner with you and come see us on Thursdays or go there any day of the week. They always have something great going on. And if you were there last Thursday, you would have ran into one of our teammates, Blue Pawn, who has been passionately working on this Asajj deck for quite some time. He made it to day 2 of Galactics with Talzin and then went up to Portland and had a great run with Han2 ECL. But really, in the background, his passion has been around this deck. And so we thought it'd be fun to take a look at it and try it out. He was nice enough to send it over to us. The Asajj ping into Tarkin Town can really disrupt your opponent early on. You can get Ogdo out and activated. Some other ground and space vehicles as targets for Asajj or your other pilots. Really fun deck, and we're excited to jump into some games to see what happens. And our first deck of the day is a Sabe Yellow, something I think is gaining in popularity with Sabe Tarkin Town also doing well, turning out to be one of the better leaders, it looks like. And I do like this hand. We'll go ahead and keep it. Gives us an opportunity to get a couple of space units out. We probably won't be ramping with Cham. And I think here, with its when defeated, we'll keep it because we can go Krennic and get that out pretty early. They do hit the Faith in Your Friends. This is where it's interesting, right? Because yes, they could steal our Krennic off a shuttle, but do we mind? Because we can play a space unit ourselves, ping, and then Tarkin Town it and get our Krennic right back. And I think that sets the board up nicely for us. We do lose that shield, but then we get to play the Scion the next turn anyway. It doesn't look like they have that line, which will allow us to kill the other spy and keep our shield. So that works. And now whatever they play, we still have our Tarkin Town online. And that's what we were hoping for here. If we can get our space units going, we'll be able to get some damage. And this is where I think sometimes Asajj is the forgotten leader from that set, right? What great value that was. We'll go ahead and resource now the Imperial Occupier. I think that can be good because you're pinging it, so you can use it to do damage, then attack, then get a clone or a spy token. So you basically can do 3 damage with it. So we're in an interesting spot here. They got the Cinta and the other Von Reg. Now we can either play Scion for 4 or Power. I think we'll play the Scion because something died. And we'll go ahead and hit base because we want space targets. We'll pass. So now this kills our opponent's leader. And when they play it, we can play this and force them to attack into one of ours. So a really good spot for us. I think on the 5 resource turn, we want to make sure this only costs 1 right now. So that's pretty good. So I think we put the Ogdo away, giving us an option to play Occupier, Inferno 4, and Give Into Your Anger. So let's see how this plays out from our opponent. There might also be an opportunity here to start pinging units off of the Von Reg so that when we flip next turn, it has maximum grit on it. But let's see what they decide to do with the Starfighter. They do what? Impropriety among thieves. Okay. So we switch units for this turn. So let's go ahead and kill off what they gave us. Right, because we're going to get this back. Sure. I like the condemn here. I think it could have some good use. We'll make sure that they can't do any damage here. Which means they have to attack into the Krennic. We'll get that down. And now the Power of the Dark Side will also be on board here. So I'm feeling really good about our spot. We can condemn. We can power. I think both slow down what they're trying to do, while we'll be able to flip Asajj here. And we can even flip Asajj onto the ground, which I kind of like. So they'll get one attack in. Yep. They take the power. We are going to... We're going to deal 1 damage here. I think we're really going to power up our Asajj this turn. And then we're going to keep the condemn for whatever they play. Yep, let's go ahead and condemn that. And now we have the option to kill this off if we want, which might actually end up being the right play, because getting that Falcon off the board could be valuable. We're not really worried about that. That's an easy trade. They just wasted a resource. So now I do think we put Asajj here because they can just bounce the Falcon. They claim. We'll swing. We'll deploy Asajj here. We'll kill the Falcon. We'll go ahead and pass. And then we'll get our healer out. And now I feel like we've taken control of the game. We have 2 units that let us get an attack in. So we want to make sure to attack last with the Scion and the Infernal 4, because they could be bringing out things like Cassian with a surprise strike. Well, they could be bringing out... Oh, they have Cunning. Okay. Okay. So they play Cunning. That lessens what they could bring out. Oh, and they get a card from hand. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and create some action efficiency. If they do bring out something like another Falcon, we can... Oh, they just claim. We can kill ourselves to heal, which isn't bad. Another healer is good too. And now we've taken full control of the board, and you can see the value of what we're doing here. We're able to go wide on both arenas. We're able to ping and disrupt. Okay, they have another Cunning. I don't think... Yeah, it's not going to be enough. Oh, okay. So we claim here. They're out of resources. We don't need to play anything. And we just swing for the win. And GG's to our opponent there. And I think that was a good example of what this deck can do and what Blue Pawn was thinking about when building it out and how it could be disruptive. All right, so if you were watching our last live stream, we ran into a version of this Thrawn. I'm excited to check it out some more because wow, is it powerful. We're going to keep this hand. I will put 1 Infernal 4 and our Cinta down. Okay. We don't mind seeing that. What is this one too? So from what we saw, a lot of this is about disrupting what they're trying to do. Sure. So we'll take one here because it'll die anyway. A lot of disruption in what they're trying to do. So we want to keep units off the board while building out our units a little bit. So I do like the idea that I could play this here, or I could play two of these. So they do decide to trade. We'll play the bigger unit. Get rid of that. They're not really ramping, but we might want a big unit out. So far, so good. So far, only one target for them to exploit. Okay. We'll take the ship. I think here. What does this do? Raid. Okay, we're just gonna clear their board. No, mostly clear it. Ooh, condemn could be nice there. Still, when it dies, is doing its work, but we're gonna get our ship out in space. We're gonna do a damage to it to kill this, and then we'll have two ships. Yeah, I think that's what we want. Trying to think about the ordering here. So let's get rid of this. Put one on top, one on bottom. We'll take two here and one. And we'll take the three. Because I think what we're going to do next is damage here. Attack in and get our spy. Now they've got a sentinel out here. Which we actually have an answer for, because we can Tarkin Town, or we can Ruthless Raider, one ping, but we want to be careful. We need to get our Asajj out. Oh, so they just decided to trade. Okay. And we're a bit behind at the moment. We're actually going to put Asajj on as a pilot and see if we can do this Mahdi. Yeah, okay. So we'll go ahead and condemn here, slow them down. Because I'm thinking with the here, we might be able to get two attacks in. So let's see if that works. Show another condemn. Yeah. So we'll ping the shield. We'll ready this again. Oh, wow. Okay. So they're going pretty wide here, which could set up something. I think we might end up one attack short. But let's play it out, because we do, in theory, have the ping grit here. And maybe that's what we should have done. I forgot about Asajj's grit, so we should have pinged here. But that's actually... We'll go ahead and condemn. I should have thought about that before, because we can actually swing with more here. So I think I messed that up. Yeah, because in theory I swing for 10, so it should have been 2 more damage. So GG's to our opponent. I forgot about the grit with Asajj, newer leader for me. Should have slowed myself down, could have done the ping there for the extra 1 damage then, and would have been another damage. That would have been the 2 to win the game. Also, just poor sequencing on my part as I learned that leader. But even as they were able to go wide with the Admiral and things like that, we had opportunities to win, and we just kind of misplayed that one. We'll go ahead and keep this. I do like that we can get both of these out into the Scion, so we're going to try and maximize that piece. We don't really want this on the board, so we're hoping they use the Force to give it a token. They do. That's great. So they lose the Force there. And we're able to do, I think, what is a very equitable trade on turn 1. Really disrupting what Obi-Wan wants to do with this deck. And I think it disrupted it so much that they're out. So I think it's unexpected for people, right? You don't really see Asajj a lot, and that first turn ability to take advantage of Target Town and disrupt your opponent can be so big. And right there, they lost the Force. We had board control, a lot of good things happening for us. This Revan is probably going to the ground, but we're gonna keep this. I think Condemn is super powerful on the Revan itself. I think that the pilot is rough because of the removal that's going to come in the deck. So we're going to go Infernal 4 into Occupier, and then we'll ping Occupier to kill their Kylo. Actually, maybe we'll play Ogdo. Occupier is a great target for Asajj herself because it has Overwhelm. And I only know these tricks because they have been done to me by Blue Pawn in many games. Okay. So they get the constructed lightsaber, they draw a card. There's an opportunity for us to just claim there and power. But I think in this case, a Condemned also could be nice. Let's see. I want Condemn on Revan, actually, so I think I'll hold it for that. So I think this turn could be Occupier and Lieutenant. We can get some damage in. If they don't attack into Ogdo, I think we ping again and Target Town to get this gone. Yeah, it's swinging for 6. Okay. Well, they're forcing us to power. So we power. And they're gone. I don't know why in Blue Villain you would go all in on one unit. Maybe that's just what their hand had, or they were trying to do some trick, but we resourced our pilot because we were worried about the same thing. So we'll go to another game. Sorry, these games, a few of them are just ending pretty short. People are not liking our disruption early on. We'll go into one of the more meta decks right now and Han to Blue Force and see if we can get past Big Jimmer. This will be an interesting one where they're damaging their units and we're pinging as well to get extra damage. I'm not sure. When I see this, I wonder if Let's Call It War would be good in this deck. I think it could have a lot of value as you're doing pings and then adding to your damage. They'll pass. So even if they play a Grogu, we have an answer here. So we're feeling pretty good about what's happening. They are worried about Target Town. In this case, I don't think I mind the pilot. And I know they don't run a lot of space, so I think I might explore the idea of going space pilot ship. I don't love Marin. I don't love Marin, so I am going to get rid of it. And we'll just build our board from there. They could have entrenched, so we have to be worried about that. They have double Marin. Okay. Who doesn't love double Marin? I think we'll just maximize what's happening. I think now maybe we do go pilot and ship and see if it works out. Now we're definitely doing it right. So let's put the pilot on. This is a little risky. They could have a fell. They do not. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get our 9 damage in. There's no way they're doing something else. Let's see. Is it worth getting them to 17 or no? We're going to claim. We're happy to see them deploy Han. We'll take the 3 damage. We will go ahead and condemn Poe. And that should be GG's. They now have no way of removing anything or doing any damage with Poe. He's basically a dead unit. We will bring our pilot out. And that could not have gone any better, right? So we thought about how they're weak in space. We were able to avoid a fell. That was the one thing. They played a Poe. We had a condemn, which is able to shut down whatever they're doing. We also were able to claim to guarantee another 9 swing, which is super important because even if we didn't have the condemn, we got another 9 in there at 23. They can't kill this ship right away. We go to 26. We deploy Asajj. We deploy Ogdo. We deploy Occupier. We have all of these things that can represent lethal once we do that 9 swing, and that's why we claimed. Just think what a powerful play for the deck, right? Against something that is very strong. We were able to outdo it. So Vader Pilot, I think another deck that performs well. Let's see if we can get some space units ourselves to combat it. This is not the ideal starting hand with this. Yes, we could resource the Cinta, have a ground unit, but we're going to be pretty slow into space. So we're going to mulligan to see if we can draw something. The Infernal 4 is great here, along with the Condemn. I think the power is probably too little, but let's keep the power just in case, because we're going to be able to control some of the early game. We'd love to see another ship. There's an argument here, I think, to save the Tarkin Town for something like Victor Leader. So we're going to go ahead and attempt to do that. It's very good of us to play to see a 1-drop. And I think this is, again, where people don't remember or understand the Asajj leader value. And if you think about the current Han 2 meta, Weenie CAD, like all of these types of things, these pings can really get you in front of those. So maybe a slept on deck as we think about the current meta. Obviously, if you run into hard control, any deck is an issue there. The Thrawn deck was a bit disruptive, but we had a big misplay there. I think for this turn, we're going to put the Ogdo down because at some point we do need to start to do damage back. And this is going to be our opportunity with Ogdo. And we don't even need to use the Ogdo ping now. We could do it next turn. But we will, because this ping order doesn't matter as much. Oh, okay. And now we can put the pressure on. Yes, they could take it back, but let's see. If we can keep it out long enough, we can get the Asajj pilot on it. We could do a lot of damage. But now we're swinging for 9 when they're swinging for 2, which feels pretty good. So let's see what happens. I think the best thing we could see here is a victor leader, or even a clone combat squadron, especially if it's before they attack. I think if they don't attack, we take out the Republic Y-Wing, we ping off the TIE Fighter, and then we do use our power to clear their board, and then we have a clear board on their side. Looks like we won't have that. So we'll get our 5 attack in. We can still end this with a in an interesting state. We don't really want to lose this back, so let's go ahead and condemn. I think we're just keeping them light. Sure. Okay. I think we're going to miss out by 1 turn on getting this out. They're going to get it back. So let's get our 4 damage in. And then get our 2 more ships out. And this will be interesting once we deploy Asajj, because we can force something to attack into us. We can build the grid up. They're killing off their unit to do the ping, but it loses that ability. That bodes well for us. They could trade out here. I think I'm okay with that. They don't want to leave themselves with just 1 unit when we have the power. Okay. So they do make a trade there. We'll go ahead and ping that. They decide not to take the hauler back, which is fine by us. Yeah, there. They want the hauler now. They forgot. That's okay. I don't mind. There is an argument to put the Asajj on the ground, but I think in this case, with the Kaz, we're able to swing. We have, if they let us swing with the Onyx, we have lethal. Okay, so they are deploying. They'll be able to tap. Okay, that makes some sense. Let's see what they can do here. They tap both. I think they have to 7, 14, so they would get to 21. So in this case, they have to jam 2 of these things into here. So I'm sure they're figuring that out right now. They have 7 damage they can do. They have to do it into the Asajj unit. Which really helps us a ton. The other thing that we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and force this to attack into our squadron, keeping the damage off our base and healing. And I think when we go back and watch through this, we'll have to figure out if we were supposed to do the trades we did with the hauler or just hit base. I think in this scenario, it's working out. They can do 3, 6, 10 damage to get us to 22. And then if they have a pilot or something, so we'll go ahead and claim, and we'll see if they have something else. If they have like a falcon, no, they have enough for a falcon. Shuttle, sure. So that's why we didn't just claim, right? And then we got him. So GG's to our opponent. Really, really good, I think, back and forth chess match, and another opportunity for us to see the tools in this deck and what they can do. I mean, the given to your anger, you don't see it a lot, but it can be great because it can pump up your Asajj in space, or in these scenarios, it can slow down their one big hitter for you to be able to finish the game off. So I hope you guys are enjoying the video. I think this is a really fun deck. Again, it's a Architect is one of the Syndicate members, Blue Pawn. He's been working on it for a long time, since the Asajj release. I think it's in a really great place in the current meta. And let's see what we can do here. Let's see. Anakin's going to want to trade up. I think we don't mind that so much. But I think the Ogdo could do some interesting damage if we're able to get it to stick. So I think right now we'll go space. And then we'll try to get the Iden out. Yeah, okay. I think they're not going to have a lot of space options, so let's see. Maybe they also drew the blue leader. It can happen. I have noticed in games against, yeah. As I say, I've noticed in games against Anakins, when you want to go space, they always have it. They have the dual answer, and in this case, they have it. So now we'll switch our attention. We do want them to attack. Yeah, that's good. The reason we wanted the attack is we can just ping this off. And here we have the opportunity to put another space unit out and put a pilot on this one, which I think could be valuable. I don't think they're going to let us get this attack in. Yeah. They have Wrecker. We'll play our pilot. And we're going to start to race, I think. We're going to be able to do 7 here to 14 to 21. I don't know what's happening. Oh, okay. Let's power our guy up a little bit. This could be interesting. The reason I say this could be interesting because if they bring out Anakin, we could force an attack on it. To slow them down. Which we will go ahead and do. We'll force them to attack here, not letting them upgrade it, letting us ready our unit. which hopefully is enough to finish them off. They could put a General's Blade on something. We'll see. Because right now this is going to be 6-7 to base, which would finish it off. They have the blue leader, letting us heal 2 damage. They can flip it to the ground. We're going to... Sorry, let me see what this does on the other side. Sorry, I'm just having a moment. No, we're just going to claim. There's a scenario where we flip it to the ground and then we're 1 short. So we'll claim, and if they don't have an answer for Iden, we'll swing in and win. And they do not. So GG's to our opponent. Another example of, I think, how we were able to take advantage of the different abilities that we have in this deck. I think one of the coolest things we did there was we got the Mahdi out. We forced their Anakin into the Mahdi, readying our unit again so we could swing for another 7 and keeping them from upgrading the Anakin to get us to within range. And then they had to kill our Onyx, and we were able to heal and get out of lethal. So GG's to our opponent. I think we're seeing a lot of the great things that this deck can do that Blue Pawn has built out, and running into a lot of fun games there. I think we'll do one more game, and then we'll call it for this video. Again, we want to thank our friends at Lost Planet for partnering with us on this video, and for Blue Pawn for providing us this deck. It's actually a great set of games, right? We're seeing a lot of the different meta options that are out there, and we have another one here with Piet. And I think that we can go Krennic into Ogdo here, into maybe the Occupier. The Ogdo is nice here because I think we are racing a bit. So we'll keep this. We'll put the Cinta down. Let's see. Do we need to power? If they put a big ship out, we could slow it down there. So I think we'll go with this resourcing. And we'll go ahead and clear this out. If we are racing, we don't need to be taking damage there. Oh, I hope they play Gonk Droid here because we can ping with Ogdo and take it out and then start swinging the base. They resupply. Okay. Double power seems pretty strong. Let's see what they decide to do. Yeah, we'll power that. Sure. Now we can condemn. Oh, we can ramp too. Okay. So definitely some options for us here. We're going to go ahead and ramp. There's a good chance that they have the planetary bombardment to wipe us out. But we need to try. Okay, they do not. In that case, let's go ahead and kill this off. They do have it. Okay. So they were just waiting. And they have lethal. Yeah. So there's nothing we could do there. That's just one of the things with Piet, right? It didn't play much, but it played enough to get to a Tarkentown base. We couldn't get the Piet out fast enough. We could have condemned. I think the Devastator would have been the play. So probably something slightly different. We prevent the 9 damage. So I think we would have had to... I don't know that we had the sequencing, though. So we just didn't have the right pieces. That game was pretty fast, so we'll do one more. We have a Han 2 red. Okay, this could be interesting. And that Piet does that to people, right? They say in any game with Piet, Piet's going to Piet at times, and that's what we ran into. And we were able to do that in our PQ a few different times as well. But I do think this deck still has options against that. I think there are ways to get in front of what they're trying to do a little bit. Okay, so we do want to go to ground here because that's going to be too valuable for them. So we will use our abilities to go ahead and get rid of it. And we got Cinta underneath now for an attack. Okay. And we're getting the Ogdo out so that we have some options to swing. We will injure it, and then we'll go ahead. Yes, over time, the spread 5 can get to it, but we're just going to take that chance. I should have resourced the Cinta. It's okay. Nice with them with the aggression, readying their unit again. Oh. It's 3 and cost 2. Okay, I don't mind that. We'll put another Cinta down. I think they might try to trade out again because they're worried about us in space, is my guess. That in mind, we will play our pilot. This is interesting. Okay. Just thinking about how much damage we'll be able to do this turn. We can get them to 23. This is going to hit hard, so we got to be careful there. We're ready. And really, we're trying to figure out the actions, right? Twice the Pride is tough because it puts us within lethal. And I don't think we have anything that can answer that. I'm trying to think about. We can only swing for 4. So we have to claim. Twice Pride Aggressive Negotiation, I think, was just the right combo. Otherwise, we were working through some action economy to be able to swing and win. So I think here we just fall a bit short. And GG's to our opponent there. I think maybe we needed to go wider in space, but some of the things they were able to do to get 2 units that swing for 7 while we didn't have any presence there made it a little tougher. And the red 5 did some work with the aggression. Okay. So I think overall, super fun deck. I think the more reps you get with it, the more you see the lines. I'm sure when Blue Pawn watches this, he'll be like, oh, if you made this other play, you'd win that game as well. But overall, I think we did very well against the meta decks that we saw. And then against Thrawn, I think we learned some things about our sequencing. And then we ran into a Piet monster. And then the last game, I think we just 1 action short there. Maybe think about how we play out our resourcing differently. But overall, I highly recommend you try this deck. Super fun. I think it has a lot of tools with it. It uses cards across all the sets before rotation, which I think is great. Really appreciate everyone watching. Please like and subscribe. Remember, we'll have a subscriber giveaway coming up, and have a great day, everybody.